Hello YouTube, Genius and Exile here. I decided to take on a challenge on BexarPrepper's show, Preparing for Life Storms on PrepperBroadcasting.com. On January 8th, she posed a challenge to eat only out of your pantry and from your backstock. So, thanks to 255 Sage, Perbain, and Imstillworkin, I've actually been inspired to make fabulous sausage from oatmeal. So I actually buy the humongous boxes of oatmeal, and that ought to do pretty well as far as my dinner. What I'm planning on doing is, well, they made a breakfast sausage type meat, but what I was going to try to do is make a Salisbury steak or smothered steak out of them. So I've got 3.5 cups of oatmeal here. I've got my reconstituted eggs. I know I should have filmed that, but I didn't really think about it. I've got my mashed potatoes. They're instant taters. I actually just did them last month. I got these from the LDS Cannery. Bear actually got these for me. Thank you, Bear. I've got some collards I canned back in November, some canned butter. I'm going to use some evaporated milk in my potatoes. I've got tons of gravy mixes, so I'm probably going to do these in either mushroom or beef gravy, but as you can see right here, I've got them in a plastic bag. I've got taco mixes and Italian mixes, stir fries, things like that. And what I do is I just put them into these big bags, and I'll label them. So I have them kind of sitting up in a container so I can just easily see these are gravies or, you know, different things. And let's see, I'm going to use some garlic, some smoked salt. I also have some sea salt and pink Himalayan mixed. And what I'm going to season the meat with is with the Italian seasoning. I actually just pulled out a bunch of seasonings out of my cabinet. I wasn't quite sure. I cook a lot by smell. So if things start to smell right, that's, you know, where I go. I use some adobo and some ground nutmeg. Got some sage here. I've got some more sage, some paprika, and some Penzeys Chili 3000 mix. This is actually a great place to get all sorts of neat spices. But this is a mix of ancho chili powder, garlic, cumin, onion, cilantro, which I'm not that much of a fan of, paprika, cayenne, lemon peel, Mexican oregano, black pepper, citric acid, and a little bit of smoke flavor, and jalapeno pepper. I'm just going to add a little bit of this because we like spicy food. You know, the kids actually will eat the spicy food, so that's pretty good. And I thought, well, since it's a cold winter day, why not add a little spice, you know, get our blood flowing. So tonight's dinner will be smothered steaks with collards with bacon in them and mashed potatoes. And some of you are probably shuddering and saying, ugh, collards. But I can mine in bacon. And anything with bacon is good. They're actually not too bad. If you cook them just right, they're not bitter. They, I don't know, just taste like a green leafy vegetable. And it's got bacon! Bacon, people. Bacon. Alright, so what I'm going to do is mix up the 3.5 cups of oatmeal with the eggs, because using the ratio of 1 cup of oatmeal and 2 eggs, that's pretty much what I've mixed up as far as eggs and oatmeal. And I'm going to make enough for 4 people. That's how many I'm feeding tonight. Me, the hubby, and the 2 kiddos. So I'm going to get that mixed up, and I'll be right back, okay? Okay, so I've got the eggs incorporated into the oatmeal. Looks kind of loose, but I'm going to follow what Perbain did and leave this to sit for a few minutes after I mix in all my spices. And you know, you'd think that we didn't have tongues by all the spices I pulled out, but you know, I've never made this before and I don't want it to be bland, so I figured I'd just kind of pull out everything and we'll see how it goes. So this is some garlic. I have some smoked garlic, but I think I'm going to try just the powdered garlic. So that's about a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. I don't know. I just kind of cook by feel. I really should measure it out for you guys, but, you know. Let's see. Everybody cooks a little bit differently. Some people have to have exact recipes, and I respect you for that. And the fact that you can follow an exact recipe and go all the way through it and commit like that, hats off to you. But, sorry about my finger in the way. But, I can't. I cannot follow an exact recipe. Can't get this nutmeg open either. Let's see, I'm only going to add a little tiny bit too. I wonder that it was worth the wrestling. No. I always have to tweak it somehow, make it mine. So I'm adding some sage now. Okay. And let's see what else we've got. I already added the Italian seasoning. Sorry, I keep putting my finger in the way. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of this Chili 3000. It's actually a nice blend of chilies. It's very, very nice. So if you don't have a Penzies in your city, definitely check them out. They're pretty good. Okay, a little bit of paprika. Just to see. And of course, this will be cooked in some gravy, so I probably just am over-spicing, but I'm not adding anything that has any salt in it just yet. This does, though. This is adobo seasoning. It's actually widely used in Filipino cooking. It's a very savory kind of seasoning. It's very, very nice. It's got salt, garlic powder, sugar, spices including turmeric, citric acid, and I don't know, part of that's scratched off. But it's actually very, very nice. I was thinking about adding some smoked salt to it, but I think what I might do is add a blend of the sea salt and pink Himalayan along with my home smoked salt. There we go. Okay, got all that mixed up. Sorry about the shoddy camera work, but opening spice jars, dumping them in, and trying to look for the next thing you're going to add and filming doesn't quite work out so well. So what I'm going to do is mix all this up properly and let it sit for a little bit, and I'll start making my patties and let them, well, actually, you know, I'm probably going to let this sit a little bit longer. So it's only 2:46. The kids aren't even home yet from school. I'll be serving dinner probably around 5, so I'll let this sit just a little bit longer. If it needs to sit for a while, I'm going to put it in the fridge. Then meanwhile, I'm going to cut open my potatoes and get those started and pick out which gravy I'm going to use. Be right back. Quick note on the potatoes, by the way, I got the prepackaged potatoes from the LDS cannery, and they actually come in these plastic bags that are labeled for shorter term, long-term storage. I think it's just for shorter term storage. And what I did is I poked a hole in the bag, and I put the oxygen absorber in the bag and kind of squished it out. So there it is right there. I'm going to have to seal that back up. So there's still one more in there. So I'll seal that up. These are actually not too bad. They're a little bit more granular. They're not quite the flakes that you see, you know, with the Idahoan. But they're not bad. And what I did here, where I poked the hole, I wrote hole in my very bad writing. Looks like HOC. But cut that open so you can see what they look like. If you've never eaten LDS cannery food, it is a little bit different, but it's not bad. And here you see are the potatoes. See, they're just little granules, and you use them just like you would the regular Idahoan mashed potatoes, where you mix them up with a certain amount of water and milk and butter and salt. But that's what they look like. They're not bad. They're actually pretty good. So I'm going to get these started and get the rest of my ingredients together. Forgot to add in there, the reason why they put this in a plastic bag says not for storage in cans or foil pouches. Well, yes, I put it in a foil pouch. However, I kept it in the plastic bag, so I think that doesn't count. And the instructions are: place half a cup instant potatoes into a container, add 1 cup of hot or boiling water, allow to sit for 2 or 3 minutes. I'll put this down so it's not so shaky. And fluff with a fork and serve. So This I'll probably make right at the last minute, but I'm going to use my canned butter and evaporated milk. And I just scrubbed the counter, so I guess I'll be cleaning up all the potatoes I just spilled everywhere. Be right back. Alrighty, so I decided to get a little bit more strategic with this dinner. I know I'm probably dirtying a lot more dishes than you would maybe in an SHTF situation, but I'm filming it to show you guys. So what I did, I got a pan here. I measured out 3 cups of the potatoes, and you know what? Let's see what they taste like. You know, they kind of taste like potato chips. They've got like a cooked flavor, and I know it kind of sounds funny to say potatoes taste like potatoes, but yeah, they're actually pretty good. You want to try? No? Okay. Not feeling adventurous? No. Okay. My happy helper is kind of shy. So what I'm going to do is, for every half cup of potatoes, you need 1 cup of water, and this is a half cup measurement, so let's see if I can knock out 6 real quick. I'm only going to do 4 because I'll be using the evaporated milk to make the potatoes. And then, let's see, open up my canned butter. Oh, nice. See, and those of you who have seen videos on canned butter are kind of worried about it and wonder what it looks like. This is what it looks like, and it smells pretty good. I mean, it smells like butter. Looks pretty nice. Let's see. See, it melts really nice too. It's not grainy. This is actually ghee. It's clarified butter. What it is I melted it and kept all the milk solids at the bottom, and I just canned the fat at the top. It's, you know, clarified. Indians have been using it in their cooking for thousands of years. It's wonderful, but that's actually what I'm going to use in here. No, I'm not going to use the butter. I just spread on my hand. It's clean though. But just wanted to show you canned butter. That's what it looks like, and that's what will be going into my potatoes. Be right back. Okay, so I've let this sit for a little while. As you can see here, it's formed a nice little ball. What I did is I took a spatula and kind of smushed it together. And I figured when it would start to actually hold a shape, that'd be the good time to make patties out of them. I think they've been sitting here for all of about maybe 10 minutes since I mixed them up. I didn't add any more spices. What you saw me add was what I went with. So I'm going to make smothered steaks. So let me see if I can make a patty out of this. Now I read on some other sites that making the patty is kind of a trick, because if you pack it down too hard, the middle can become very glutinous, and if you don't pack it hard enough, everything will fall apart. So I think really the trick to this is once you make the patty, is to be gentle with it until you get it into that frying pan. Once you've gotten it on the first brown, then everything else is just easy, because it'll hold together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put this into the pan. There we go. Lower it very gently in, kind of smush it that way, and then come back and make another one. Now, because these have to be done in broth after the initial browning, what I did is I took some of my food storage chicken broth. I don't have beef. I don't know why. I don't like it. Nobody in my family really likes the taste of beef bouillon, so we always just use chicken, even if we're cooking beef. So, excuse me. I made broth from that, and it's already mixed up and ready to go in the pitcher. So once these are browned off, I'm going to pour in the broth and simmer them for 20 minutes. So once they're browned off, I'll come back and I'll show you right before I put in the broth. Okay, I got the first couple in the pan, and I put a small one in there just because I really want to taste this beforehand. So, I mean, either way, we're eating these. We're not going to be spoiled, especially in an SHTF situation. You don't want to fry them very high. I did start them a little bit high. I have a gas range, and I started them on about 8. I ended up lowering this down to about 6. And that seems to work a lot better. You can already see that they're rather brown. So I'm going to get a spatula here. Okay. And this is actually the first one I put in. And you can feel it already on one side getting kind of hard. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. Stick number 2. Looking pretty nice. You know, this actually kind of looks like chicken fried steak. It's kind of what it smells like. This is really weird. You know, it's funny. I was watching Linda 255 Sage's video, and she kept talking about how excited she was about trying this. And Linda, I'm sorry, I kind of shook my head and said, I don't know. But you kept saying how excited you were to try it. She did. And I thought, well, you know, there must be something to this. You know, and then I watched it again. And then I watched Imstillworkin's video, and I thought, okay, alright, I definitely want to try this. And I actually found myself really wanting to try this. And I actually just watched this video this morning. So, and Linda, I'm sorry, sweetie. I did not mean to shake my head when you kept saying how excited you were, because I'm excited to try this. I really am. And I can't wait. So what I'm going to do is brown these off, take them out, brown the other 2 off, and then I'm going to put them all in together and put them in the broth. Hopefully it'll be okay to cook double stack. I don't know. Maybe I should get a bigger pan. I haven't made this before, so maybe I'll just get a bigger frying pan and see if I can stick everything in there, or maybe a secondary. I'm not sure. I'm sure in a SHTF situation you really don't want to use that many pans. So, alright, I'll do this SHTF style. I will just brown these off, put them onto something, brown the other ones in here, and put them all in together, and cross your fingers, hope for the best. But we're not going to be fancy. I'm just going to try this the best I can, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'll see what else I can do. Got the second round of steaks browning off, and then I'll get the first ones I made back in the pan, including the little taster one. Get the broth I made. Here we go. SHTF Steam Facial. Okay, and that doesn't look like it's going to be quite enough liquid. So I'm going to put a little bit more in here and let them simmer for 20 minutes. Okay, so I added a little bit more liquid and realized I was adding more and more liquid because they were floating. So I added just this little strainer to hold them down. See how they come up? There we go. That way it'll keep it in the liquid so they can be fully submerged and simmer. So just want to share that tip with you. They float. Okay, so they've been simmering for about 10 minutes. I just took the strainer I have on top off so I could show you. They're looking pretty good. So I need to turn this down a little bit because they are just boiling. So this is simmer, not boil. There we go. Put this back on. Just want to show y'all how it looked at 10 minutes. Be right back. Okay, so at this point I've just taken them out of the broth. I have not refried them yet, but I just want to see what they tasted like. So, taste test time. I have my daughter here trying some too. Okay, ready? Hot. Mmm.
That's so good.
Well?
Yeah. Super good. So much flavor.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and by the way, she doesn't know what it is. So, what are you guessing that you just ate?
I'm guessing it's meatloaf.
Meatloaf?
In water.
Okay.
Or soup or chicken meatloaf. I'm not sure.
Okay. Alright, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry these up and then get some gravy on top of them. Finish making the rest of the dinner. I'll be right back. I'm going to drain these off and save the broth and then get them fried again. Okay, so I have them out of the broth. Still have the broth reducing. I want to show you how they look. They look really good. And I decided I'm going to do a mixture of chicken and mushroom gravy. So I thought that might, complement the flavors in it. This is really good. I actually gave my son a little taste test and he jumped up and down. Thought that was pretty good. And they're still steaming hot. So I'm just letting this reduce a bit more before I put the gravy mix in there. And I don't know, I haven't quite decided if I'm going to refry them up to crisp them up a little bit and then put the gravy on them, or just put them in the gravy. They seem to be pretty good even without the second browning, but I think I might do that anyway. And then I'll put the gravy on. I've got the collards in a pan ready to go, and there we go. Get those heating up. They look really good. See? And they held together very nicely. And I've got a little bit of butter in my water, and I've got my evaporated milk I'm going to add in to make my potatoes. There we go. We'll get that heating up. And then when this starts to boil, I'll turn off the heat and add in the potato granules. So, get you back in a minute. Just watching this to see how far down I can get it to reduce without becoming too salty. So the milk and the water and the butter are all hot. Actually boiled over slightly. Adding in the potatoes. Stirring them in. Okay, and it says to leave them for a few minutes. And then fluff with a fork. Wow, you can see them already starting to absorb everything. And I know I've got the biggest urge to stir. I'm a stirrer. I love to stir things. And especially as they cook, I feel like I'm attending them that way. And put the heat on for just a sec. Ooh, okay, maybe not. Alright, and I'll leave these for a few minutes and I'll come back and show you what they look like. Okay, about 5 minutes on the potatoes. They're not very fluffy. They actually almost seem like, I don't know, like grits. This is fluff with a fork. Well, if they're not fluffy, how do you fluff them? Let's see how they taste. Consistency-wise, they still feel like they've got granules in them. See, still kind of lumpy. The taste is not bad, but I think these need a little bit more liquid. So what I'm going to do is heat up some water in my kettle and add a little bit more, that way I don't bring the temperature down. Let's see if that'll do it. I don't want to water these down too much, so we'll be adding butter. But, the taste is, they almost taste like Pringles. They have a very nice kind of baked potato taste to them. But yeah, this consistency, I think we need more liquid. Alright, back in a few. Started making the gravy. Still have these right here. Taster peas. I'm going to let my son try this in a little bit. I'm making the gravy now. I'm going to put that in another pan, add some oil to this, and I think I'm going to go ahead and re-crisp the steaks and then smother them with gravy. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for the kettle to heat up so I can add more liquid to my potatoes. So I ended up adding probably about 5 or 6 cups of water. Seriously, it's about 2.5 cups to 3 cups of water per half a cup of potato, which is really kind of surprising. I mean, it's good because the potatoes go so far, but it does use a lot of water. But boy, oh boy, look at how much more potato I have. I started out with maybe about that much liquid, and look at all this potato. So I'm still kind of waiting for it to reconstitute and get nice and smooth, but holy smokes. I mean, those 2 cups of potatoes made like 6. This is not a small pot, so I want to let you know those potatoes go really, really far. So if you're going to add those to any dish, make sure that you add a little bit less than you think at first, because they take up a lot of liquid, but they still taste really good. I didn't add any more milk. I did add a little bit more butter, but I definitely added some serious water, so I'm going to stir these up a little bit more. I don't want to make them gushy, but I do want to make sure those little lumps are worked out. So, gravy's made. And it's not very thick. I think I'm going to add a little bit of cornstarch to it because I have that in my food storage. And then I'm going to re-crisp the steaks and then pour these over it, and then I'll call it dinner. Okay, so here it is. It's dinner time. There we go. Everything looks really good. G Junior he wanted gravy on his steaks. My daughter did not. So, here we go. Taste test time. Okay, guys, dig in. Don't be shy. It's hot, but, you know, take a little bite.
Oh my god, that is delicious.
Yeah?
So
Good? Okay, want to try the potatoes? Yeah, nice and tender, huh?
So good.
Okay, you like it?
Creamy too.
Okay. And the college you've had before, because, you know, I canned them up after cooking a bunch of them for you guys. But if you want to try them after they've been canned, oh, I know, sweetie, you got to be careful. Try the collards, baby. Are you just digging into the steak, huh?
That's good.
All right, well, you can eat that if you want. Okay, so here's the reveal. This is why it's a surprise dinner. Of course, you know those collards were canned by Mommy. Those are food storage mashed potatoes. And the chicken fried steak that you're eating? Yeah, look. That's what it's made out of.
Awesome.
Oatmeal.
Oh my god.
That is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. Feels just like cube steak, right?
Yeah.
Tastes pretty good. I mean, let's have a look here.
It's made out of oatmeal?
Yes, sir.
Oh my god, that is awesome.
So the whole thing is made out of oatmeal?
Yeah, it's oatmeal, eggs as a binder, and some spices. I browned it off a little bit to get it nice and firm, and then I simmered it in chicken broth for 20 minutes, and then I let it drain, and then I re-crisped it in a little bit of oil and put some gravy on top.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can actually see yourself eating this here and there.
I so
Yes,
thought this
it's
was
good.
like chicken fried steak or something.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
You really thought it was real meat, huh?
Yeah.
Fooled you? Fooled you in a good way?
Uh-huh.
Good. All right, guys, we can go ahead and go to the table if you want. Thank you so much. So there we go. I accepted the challenge of 100% food storage. And thanks to two lovely ladies, 255 Sage, and I'm still working, I have learned how to make oatmeal meat. Oh, and Perbain, of course, cannot forget Deb. She's wonderful. And here we go. Dinner is served. Okay, one thing I do have to say about this oatmeal meat, it's very filling. Usually I could have eaten a whole real beef steak about the size of the portion, which you can see right here. Since I'm not a small gal, I can eat. But this I could barely get down. So the plus side of this is that this is very, very filling. And if I would have had a steak probably about this big, about that size, that would have been perfect. Whew, I'm a little overstuffed. So it actually fills you up even more too. So that's another benefit of this oatmeal meat. Just wanted to share that with you. Whew, I'm going to go sit down.